Who controls your money after you earn it? Chances are it's probably not you. We're often taught that we should send all of our money into the bank to financial institutions or lenders. However, we are not taught about the process and the control of flow of money. Even though we are all bankers, no one's teaching us how to become the banker, meaning that we control the flow of money through our hands throughout our lifetimes. Chances are you didn't even know that you had a choice. What if you had that chance? What if you could be the one who was controlling all the financing in your life and profiting from it? That's what I'd like to talk to you about today. The infinite banking concept gives us just that opportunity. The infinite banking concept, as originally taught and discovered by Nelson Nash, isn't about investments of any kind, nor is it some trendy financial hack or something along those lines. Instead, it's about solving one problem that every dollar that ever flows through our hands has, and that's having to be put to work to earn or being spent and being lost forever. Like any process, you need a little bit of background to help some of these things make sense. So, a couple of concepts to think about here. One is that there's only two sources of income, and that's people at work or money at work. Secondly, everything in life is financed. You either are going to pay interest to someone else, or you're going to give up the interest that could have been earned in the future. The other way that some people like to say that might be you're always borrowing. You're either borrowing from your future self or you're borrowing from someone else and paying the interest on that money. The infinite banking concept as a process solves for these fundamental problems that quite literally everyone does have. It creates the ability for you to put a large volume of your money to work for you that would normally leave your hands through the process of uninterrupted compounding, yet at the same time allows you to have capital access and be able to finance all the different things that you would throughout your lifetime. The process is about restoring control, controlling not only the environment where your money resides, but also controlling the financing function that exists throughout all of our lifetimes. Any good process needs tools. And in this case, we're going to use an asset. It's not just any asset. It's an asset class that's going to deliver consistent returns, zero market volatility, guaranteed growth, liquid access, tax-free transfer, tax-deferred growth, guaranteed growth, creditor protection, and most importantly, control. Dividend-paying whole life insurance through a mutual provider checks every one of these boxes. It delivers on every one of these items. The infinite banking concept is a lifestyle. It's not a do this or do that type of scenario. Instead of sending all of your money out to banks and finance companies and trying to save 10% and hope for the growth that you need in order to achieve long-term success, in this case, what we're doing is we're simply redirecting where our money flows first. We're going to flow that money into a system that we own and control. We're still going to be able to go do all the investment, all the financing that we would normally do anyway. When you then need money for a new vehicle, for starting up a business, whatever it might be, you're going to borrow against your policy's cash value, no questions asked, and be able to go put those funds to use in the way that you see fit. The great part is that your premium is going to continue to compound as if you've never touched it over that time frame, so that those funds are always at work, even though you are going and doing all the things that you were normally going to do anyway. When you do make loan repayments, as you are an honest banker in your system, you're going to be replenishing that capital that you would have had to save for the next thing anyway. And not only that, you're going to be able to recapture a large portion of that interest that would normally have flowed away from you and be able to continue to put that to use both now and in the long run. As I said before, it's all about how you think. The infinite banking concept really is a great way to be able to steward the vast majority of funds that flow through our hands. I just wish I found it sooner. In reality, though, building a banking system allows us to put every dollar that comes into our hands into better use, assign it multiple jobs. It allows us to build a lasting legacy that we can pass on to those next generations in a tax-free manner and help them be able to start where we left off instead of having to start all over again like often happens in the world today. In fact, not only does the infinite banking concept give you the opportunity to be a great steward of the money that flows through your hands, but it also can allow you to be a great steward from a spiritual and a productive standpoint to be able to give back in ways that maybe you never thought was possible. Let me be clear. This isn't some get rich quick strategy. It requires a change in thinking. It requires us to think differently. It requires us to think long range. And it also requires us to think beyond ourselves. If that's something that maybe you've never thought of, or maybe you're learning and trying to think outside the box, or maybe things just don't seem to be going the way that they're supposed to, much like they were for me, chances are you're looking for something different. And I hope that you take the time to further understand and explore the infinite banking concept. And if in doing so, I'd love to have that conversation with you. Together, we can discover ways to control that flow of money in your hands, to think generationally, and most importantly, build a firm foundation.